That's a good place to put that as well. Okay, let's go on down. Okay, career objectives. Maybe it's more important in some industries than in others. It's not, to me, highly relevant, particularly if you're coming right out of school. Your objectives might be based on that particular job description. So it's not something I would put a whole lot of time into. Don't go into long, detailed paragraphs about your work experience. You need to be concise and clear. Don't put on personal information such as social security number or driver's license. If the time comes when that information is needed as part of an application, whether it's commercial or government, you'll be asked for it at that time. Okay. I'm not a big fan of paying somebody else to write your resume for you. This is a representation of your work, but I do recommend you help your friends. Peer review is very important. We will look for spelling errors, grammar errors, things of that nature. It's part of this filtering process. We want to see a professional document that represents you. So pass it around, have your friends proofread it, make sure that it contains all the information that will best represent you. Okay? These are just some other things that might possibly be there. Salary, I think particularly in early career phase, that's not particularly critical. In the government especially, we have particular levels at which the job is posted at, and that's going to be the salary range that you come in with. And only if you come in with some exceptional experience that would bring you up would make you go beyond that. Okay? Let's go next. On that last page, real quickly, don't make it too long. I think it's really important that you keep it concise. If you're just coming out of school, particularly with just a bachelor's degree, I think more than one page is probably stretching it. It's really not going to contain a lot of information. Okay. We work as a team. We look at people that can fit into the team. We look at people that can make individual contributions as part of a team. Some of this is more relevant to people later on in their career. If people jump around in jobs a lot, it can make a hiring manager nervous. It's like, well, are they having trouble adjusting? Are they having difficulty working with other people as part of a team? And for us, this is one of the reasons we do the career development program, and it's now a 3-year program, is because we want you to get sort of established and understand the overall agency during that period of time. And actually, our attrition rate is very low. We generally do very well in having people graduate out of that program and into a permanent position. Okay? I may be hiring my future boss. Well, particularly as you get later in your career, succession management, succession planning is important. I fully intend to be hiring people now that will be doing my job in a few years. That's my goal, because I believe in our organization, and I want to see that organization's mission continue into the future. And that my way of doing that is to help make sure we have leaders that will lead the organization moving forward. Okay? The interview, the internet's awesome compared to what we used to have. We used to not know very much about a company unless they left a brochure at the Career Center. Now the internet gives you the opportunity to find out a tremendous amount about that employer, about that program even. If Boeing is hiring and they're going to hire for the ground-based missile defense program, you could go research that and know a tremendous amount about that before you came to the interview. Of course, you want to dress professionally. You're going into a professional job, and it's perfectly accepted and normal to be coming in dressed in business attire. So there'll be more than one person asking you questions. As I said, mostly that'll be done on telephone for us. And of course, you know, it's awfully nice to say hello when you enter someone's office and be friendly with everyone you meet. And if you're in a company facility, you know, there may be more than one person having an influence on that job, and sort of the impression you make during that entire interview day process could play a factor in whether you're offered the position or not. Okay? A thank you note or email is a courteous thing to do. There's sort of an intermittent pattern of people who do that, and there's also, on the other side, a very spotty record about people who may have had a resume submitted, and you may never hear from the company. You know, I prefer a more reactive approach myself, to give someone the courtesy of saying, I received your resume and thank you, we'll consider it, or we don't have any openings at this time, or whatever. I think that's a courteous thing to do. So, in the government, we're somewhat more constrained than when I worked in private industry, in terms of we will have some set interview questions, and we will ask those same questions to every applicant. As a hiring manager, I find that to be less than satisfactory, but I think it's just a numbers game. It's due to the sheer volume. We have to keep it consistent and make sure that we're allowing everyone to have the opportunity to give us an answer in that area. So, okay, so these are some typical type questions. So talk about yourself. What do you want to do? How much do you know about what we do? That's going to be an opportunity to impress people, to say, oh wow, this person's done some homework on us. So that's a good thing. You'd be surprised when we deal with people who want to come to us to fund research, how sometimes they haven't done a whole lot of research on us. And it's like, well, you know, we're not going to fund work just because it's the greatest idea in the world. We're going to fund work because it's a benefit to us. That's our mission. So, okay. We will look at again, I've hit that button several times, teamwork. We work in an agency that employs several thousand people, and, you know, everybody needs to work together. So, and sometimes under some stress. We have some test events coming up, and when a particular part of that test plan is not coming together, that can put a lot of people under a lot of stress, because our test range is the Pacific Ocean. We will fire a missile out of the Kwajalein Atoll on the Marshall Islands, and we will shoot it down either from Hawaii, California, or Fort Greely, or a ship stationed in the region. So these are $250 million live fire tests. A lot of pressure. If you fail at something, it's in the newspaper. So, okay, I think that's it. Of course, for government positions, where I'm represented, the Department of Defense, USA Jobs is where you can find that. If you're interested in finding out more about our agency, www.mda.mil, and you can find out about business opportunities if you're a research faculty, if you're interested in investigating our broad agency announcements and opportunities for funding, you can find those there. You can also find information about, and here's our webpage. So here's business opportunities. All of my work is in advanced research, so we have our own page now, or set of pages actually, where it talks about our broad agency announcements and our other programs for funding opportunities. But it also talks about careers, and there'll be information about career opportunities within the agency on our public site, as well as on USA Jobs. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. And like I said, I'm more than welcome to talk about the agency, my career, working in engineering, anything that you'd like to ask.
All right, thank you. I would like to thank our speaker for for being here, sharing that critical information. Many of us are in SPITS, and our students are various stages of their development and careers and need the answers to these questions. Anyone have any, maybe we have time for one or two quick questions if anyone has one. Have one back here. Yes, sir. Stand up if you'd like.
Hello, my name is Quincy Land Jr., mechanical engineering major, and question about, it says, tell us a little bit about yourself. How do you find that balance to say just enough but not sound too kind?
That's a great question. It may come down to subtle things like saying finished number 1 in my class versus I was the best programmer my professor had ever seen. So it can be subtle things like that. If it's something that you can substantiate, especially, it's I won this honor. My team won, this scholastic event, this college bowl activity, or I was part of the SWAC championship bowling team. That's great. It shows leadership. It shows commitment. It shows dedication. So cite factual information and don't treat it as first person. You'll want the resume, in my opinion, to be third person. It should be objective. You're standing at some distance stating factual information. You're not, I did this. So that would be first person, and I would not recommend that approach. That will help actually in making it sound to cite your accomplishments and not that, your mama loves you. I hope so.
Question. Anyone else? Okay, well, join me giving our speaker another hand. Ariel, come on back up there. We just want to show a little bit of our appreciation for your, this is our certificate of appreciation for your outstanding, I added outstanding, contributions to the Dean Speaker Series on October 30th, 2014. And for our speaker, Dr. Deason, we want to thank you for being here. We have a token that we always leave with our speaker. Well, in this case,
I'll pass it along to Dr. Burns.
Pass it along to Dr. Burns because we had this made before we knew we had the
That's
change.
terrific.
But we do appreciate that, and I think your talk was right on point. What was needed here. So thank you, and you're always welcome to come back and take a look at our students. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean.
All right, take care.
Thank you all for the opportunity. I love coming and talk to you. Be happy to come back anytime or arrange for some of our other folks to come talk.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking around.